Alright, now we got the initial grind done, and it's up to a 120 grit. So you'll see here in better light. That's what we've got right now. So before we go out to heat treat, the things that I still need to do include drilling our holes, because once you're back from heat treat, it's too tough to drill. The other thing I wanted to do was some file work on the back of this. And again, that's something you're going to want to do before heat treat, just because the files will skate right off after heat treat, unless they temper it. If it's tempered, you're still going to be able to do it, but it'll eat your files a lot faster. It'll be a lot more difficult. So what I did, and what I always do, is the pattern I'm going to do today is going to look something a little bit more like this. So if you see from the side, let's see where I'm looking here. Sorry if that's not zooming in or focusing here, but you can kind of get the gist of it here. So you're going to have your tops more squared off, or diamond, if you will. And to do that, what I do is I start with, you always have to mark out your blade with equal lengths. Now this one has a little bit more, so you've got the round here, you've got the longer files here. But I'm just going to do just the sweep pattern with the diamonds. And so what I did was I went back, again with my digital calipers. I marked it off for about 0.25 inches, and then I went through and I scored lines all the way down at 2.5 inches. I then start with just a triangle file. So what you do is you're going to score your lines, so a lot like what you might be able to already see, the lines starting to be scored here. There we go. So I start and I score the lines just deep enough to where a then thin saw or a round file, something like that, is going to be able to sit in that without skating across. It's the same size file that you're going to do your little point here in the front. So then once you do that, you're going to get that just big enough to be, to get a sweep, just enough for your big oval file. So here's your oval file, flat on the back, oval on the front. You can kind of see it from the side. So once you do that three-step process, you do your triangle file just deep enough for the circle. You do the circle just deep enough for the file, and you're doing it just deep enough so it doesn't skate off. Because the last thing you want is the file to be jumping all over, and you're not going to get clean lines that way. And so we're starting with the triangle and then the oval, and so that's what we'll be. Alright, I realized that when I was doing my initial grind that the back wasn't square. It's really important that the back is square, otherwise you're going to get lopsided or angled cuts. So we'll just start again, and we'll start again with the triangle file.
My eyes are open wide. By the way, I made it through the day. I watched the world.
Alright, so I'll just do a few of those just to kind of give you an idea. So that's what we did here. Pull this back out. Alright, so once again, sorry, wrong side. We angled it, so you can see it's not too terribly deep. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back through. And again, this time we're going to go with the round bar. Now I'm going to start a little bit down, because right here on the actual thumb, I'm going to put just some serrations. I'm going to use only the triangle file to do the serration, so I'm going to actually do one every about 1/8 of an inch. So I'll start the third one down.
Outside, by the way, I'm leaving out today.
Alright, now I'm starting with the big oval file, and I lied to you in the measurements earlier when I said I measured out every 2 point. I meant 0.5 inches, because they're going to be about 0.5 inches across, as you can see here with this. You're going to see point to point, that's going to be about 5.5 inches. So that's what I was measuring earlier. So sorry for lying to you.
I just saw Haley's comments you said all you want is running in place. Even the man in the moon.
First, first, as you can see, sorry, I always do the wrong side here. First divot, or first point here, and then we're going to do the same all the way across and sweep it down each time. So that's what we'll do here.
Done the best I can to make them realize this is my life. I hope they understand. I'm not angry, I'm just saying sometimes goodbye is a second chance. Please don't cry one tear for me. I'm not afraid of what I have to say. This is my one and only voice, so listen close. It's only for today. I just saw Haley's commentary. Said, why you always running in place? Even the man in the moon disappeared. Somewhere in the stratosphere. Tell my mother, tell my father, I've done the best I can to make them realize this is my life. I hope they understand. I'm not angry, I'm just saying sometimes goodbye is a second chance. Here's my chance.
Alright, so this is the end result. So you'll see that you're going to have, and again, sorry about the fuzziness, I wish it would be able to focus better. So you're going to see your tops of the diamonds here. Here's where I actually just did a round file right in between two of the diamonds. Oops, sorry, once again. So tops of the diamonds here across. I did, and it's a little bit harder to see, but I did a round file here in between two diamonds. I extended it out about a ½ inch just for a little bit, and then I just did, I took the, just the triangle file here, so just your triangle, and then I just carved something so you have some better thumbprints. Now they're a little bit sharper right now, but once they come, I'll go over them real quick with the 120 just to bring them down so they have a little more flat in them, and then once they come back from heat treat, obviously I'll bring them up to a satin finish, and then they'll be a little bit better, a little easier to work with, and a little bit less sharp. But overall, it's a good feel for the blade. We'll also, instead of leaving this as is, once I got my card on and it's somewhat fitted, what I'm going to do, I'll pull it off, and then we're going to fill. I'll put two just pieces of scrap wood on either side, and then I'll fill the top starting just before the finger or the thumb grooves, and we'll fill that all with black epoxy, and then we'll sand it down. So once it's sanded and the mic card is on the side, all you'll see is the tops of the diamonds, and there's going to be satin finished. I might go to mirror, just kind of depends on the look that I'm looking for, and once I go there, I'll make the decision. And then in between, you'll see just a shiny black epoxy, and then matched, obviously sandwiched in between the two micarta pieces that then you'll then sand down. So the last step is just to drill the holes and then send this out for heat treat.